Today was our probably more physical day of the week. A little lighter days, Monday and Tuesday, trying to get the legs back from camp grind. Got back after it today, and thought they responded well. Didn't think yesterday was what it needed to be, but had a good practice today, good tempo. Got to work on some more special team situations, trying to work on more things situationally, like end of game, beginning of game, halftime, 2 minutes before the half. A lot of situations like that, but I'm sure you guys got some questions for me, so we'll open it up. Thanks.
Coach, what's I guess Robert Beal and Rashad Roundtree weren't out there. What are they dealing with?
Yeah, we got both of them got small injuries. I think they should be back soon. Nothing real serious. They expected to be back in the next couple of days.
Holloman, has he been kind of still limited with the hammy throughout?
We've been trying to watch his yardage. It's the biggest thing he's been doing all the periods. We pull him sometimes out of Indy to stretch him and get him loose. I think that's when y'all are out there. But in the last couple of days, he's been able to sustain and get up to his kind of his yardage quota. I think we're getting him up towards 5,000. He pulled the hamstring a while back. We held him out. He came back from that. He's really had no issues since he came back. We've just been very cautious with his numbers to make sure he doesn't get above a certain number of yards. He's been fine.
Speaking of wide receivers, I mean, how many kids do you think you have right now you could legitimately see playing this first game?
Well, it's real competitive. You know, it's a situation where those battles will come down to special teams more than they will wide receiver. But there's some guys. I mean, Akil has shown in the last couple of days he catches everything that's thrown to him. He's done really well. Miko stepped up and made some plays. Mark Webb's made some plays. Jason Stanley's made a few plays. But it's nobody has really just taken the bull by the horns and said, I'm the lead dog. So there's a lot of competition at those positions. But I'm most proud of those guys on teams. Because on special teams, they're like the core units. It used to be your DBs were your core units. Right now, our wide receivers are almost every one of them is on special teams.
Would you like to have a lead dog? Or you like having 5, 6, whatever, how many guys to?
You know, I think it is what it is. Whatever happens, happens. You always want to have a great guy, but at the same time, the more competitive it is, the better. Nobody has really stuck out head and shoulders above. I thought first scrimmage Terry did, but after the second scrimmage, a lot more of those guys are more neck and neck.
Kirby, typically, like for, let's just say, for example, a 70-man travel roster,
Yeah.
What's the rough number of receivers you would take? I mean,
it varies. I mean, year to year, how good's your depth? Like I said, special teams is going to be a factor. I mean, there might be, I think last year there was games we took 8 or 9. This year it could be 10 or 11. So that number would change, and obviously it would be a seesaw because somewhere else might suffer. But those guys are playing more toughness, and they're playing on our special teams. I think that says a lot about like a guy like Mark Webb, Riley Ridley, Jason Stanley. I'm just trying to think of the guys that are Chigbu. I mean, they're good special teams players. They're all 200 to 215 pounds, and they'll block you. So that's been a good surprise. But I don't know if it's that much or as much as it's a deficiency at defensive back because we don't have enough guys to do that.
Last time we talked to you, you weren't concerned as much with the starting offensive line, but finding the group of guys you want to play. How close are you guys to narrowing in on that 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that you're going to want to try to go to the game with?
Well, we're much closer after that scrimmage. You know, I think there's still some battles in there. We feel good about the first 5 we've got, but those guys are, even the guards are kind of rotating, and we've always felt that if a guy can play just as efficient as another guy, then he's fresh and he can play just as well. We'll play him. You know, at the tackle positions, they're still battling it out over there at right tackle. We're still looking to see who the backup left tackle is going to be, and maybe who that 4th guard is going to be. We feel good about the 3 guards, and then the backup center spot between Dashawn and Fogarty. So there's kind of battles at 2 center, 4 guard, right tackle, and backup left tackle.
Who would be that 3rd guard right now?
3rd guard probably Kendall Baker.
Kirby players are saying some nice things about Andrew Thomas, that they're impressed with him, including his arm length. Do you guys measure that? Is that a big?
Yeah, absolutely. We measure it on every recruit we have, every player we have. I don't know his right offhand, but we obviously measure it. You know, Andrew Thomas is a very mature kid who's done a good job, but let's don't get ahead of ourselves. He was, at the high school prom 3-4 months ago, so he's done a good job. He competes. He comes to work every day. I would hate for you guys to give him the Outland or give him some award before he even plays it down.
You mentioned right tackle. I mean, how close is it? With I guess Ben Cleveland, I would assume is competing there with him.
How close is it? It's neck and neck. Each day they go out there and compete. Ben played some of the ones. Ben's competing hard. I think Andrew's competing hard. They both go there and both compete and done a good job. So time will tell. A couple more practices, we'll hone things down.
Where are you guys on the secondary? Have you guys kind of stayed where you were Saturday with JR at the Star and Aaron?
Yeah, we've got about 4 guys rotating with the Star: D'Angelo, JR, Jarvis, and Lorenzo. So when you start talking about all those guys, they all rep in there. At safety, we got Richard, Jarvis, JR, and Breeny's working in there. Then at corner, you got Tyreek, AD, obviously Bake's playing out there. Poole's doing a good job. He stepped up, made some plays, and Amir and Stokes are all repping there. So it's been kind of the same groups.
As far as holding on field goals and extra points, not many teams have a quarterback do it. So why do you guys go with Jacob last year, and is he going to keep doing that this year?
We don't know yet. Cam's working there because he works with the kickers a lot. So Cam will work there. Jacob will work there. Jake Fromm's work there. Bryce has worked there. So but those quarterbacks are always nice to have there because they catch snaps all day, every day in shotgun. The kickers are typically more comfortable with the punters because they're with them all the time. So we'll keep looking at those guys and figure out which one we feel like is the best.
Notice you mentioned Lorenzo at Star. I mean, is that kind of a matchup thing there with maybe run-heavy teams or something like that? I mean,
I think it's just an issue of depth for us. We've got more outside backers that can play than we do stars right now. So it's just more of an insurance policy, not something that we're focused on. But, if we lose any more DBs, we got to get our best 11 guys on the field. And that might be different people in different packages.
Nick said he looks quick, Nick said he feels quicker this preseason than he did last year. Do you see that?
Yeah, much quicker. Thought he was much quicker in the spring. I don't think he's running, he's not running a limp at all. His cuts seem faster, so he runs a good pad level. And I think he runs really hard. He seems to be healthy.
Julian Rochester mentioned yesterday guys like John Atkins and Trent Thompson as getting after the younger defensive linemen in practice and stuff. Have you observed that, and how important is it for them to kind of take on that leadership role with those younger guys?
Oh, it's extremely important. I hadn't directly noticed John or Trenton doing that, but I'm not saying they don't. They may be doing it within their meeting room, within an individual. I think both those guys are good leaders, and I think it's important to do that because when they do it, we don't have to do it as coaches. We can spend more time coaching.
Julian, his conditioning, the ability to stay on the field during games, are you happy with where he is?
I'm not happy with any of the defensive line's conditioning right now. I think that all those guys got to improve the conditioning because the world we live in, the fastball and the way we practice it and work on it, those guys that are 300 pounds, they can't play sometimes more than 5, 6, 7 plays. So I'm not happy with where we are at all on that. They've got to do a much better job of pushing through and competing. And right now we got to sub them because they can't play more than those number of plays. Not just him, all of them.
That's just mental with them?
Oh, it's not mental. It's conditioning. It's ability to carry the weight, carry the pads, and play fast. So when you're 300 pounds and they ask you to play 7 plays as fast as you can, as quick as you can, and carry a 25-pound weight on your back, they tend to struggle with that.
you told us last year in preseason 5 inside linebackers, kind of what you would like to have. That many guys. You feel like you've gotten close to that number? I know you've told us you've got 3, but do you feel like any of those other guys have stepped up? And
You're talking about playing, or you're talking about traveling,
or you just you said you'd like to have that many guys because it's such a physical position to have that many guys who could play. Do you feel like you're closer to having that than you were maybe this time last year?
Yeah, we're closer than we were last year because the 3 freshmen we signed are going to be pretty good players, plus the 2 guys who've been developing, Juwan Taylor and Tay Crowder, have gotten better. Now, to say that they're ready to play at the level of the other 3, I'm not ready to commit to that. But they're going to be special teams players for us. They're getting better, and that's our be-all and end-all. Every player just each day get a little bit better so that if something happens, your number's going to get called and you're ready for it.
Kirby, when are you guys going to scout team and some App State prep?
Not sure yet. We still haven't decided that.
Are you guys in install phase?
No, we're definitely not installing. We're fundamentals, getting better, good on good, practicing, not really installing. We're working on some opponents down the road, the first couple for a period a day. So we spend a little time on somebody that we're going to play so we can look at something different they do. if 70% of the offense we're playing is done by our offense, and we spend 70% of the time against our offense, that 30% might be what they do that we don't see. And then we tape it, and then we bring it back up the week of the game and say, hey, remember when we did this? This was for so-and-so. This was for so-and-so. So this week, that's been one fund of that period, but the rest of the practice is fundamental. I don't think you can practice good on good enough to develop your team and get your team better.
Take 2 more questions.
Just going back to defensive lineman conditioning for a second, is there anything you can do as coaches to help them
Yeah,
get over that? Or?
conditional. I mean, we got to do more of it. They don't play on special teams, so they don't get the high volume of running and reps. So we have periods in practice. Y'all aren't there the whole practice. I know some of you want to be, but you're not there the whole practice. So we have to condition those guys, and we do. But I don't ever think that we're well conditioned enough at defensive line. I'll believe that when a guy can go out there and play like a DB and play 7 consecutive plays and strain his gut and be just as effective the 7th as he was the first.
Getting to a point in camp or in preseason practice where you're ready to see you guys hit somebody else, they're ready to see you hit somebody else. Is that kind of starting to set in?
Yeah, I think it's set in, especially with some of the older guys. I think the younger guys are still just figuring out what's going on sometimes with the older guys. And that's what we challenge these guys, not to be complacent, not to relax, not to think, I've arrived. We really don't want them focused on that because I just don't think that's the right approach. You can burn out on that whole concept. So when it's time to get serious about that and focus on it, that's what we're going to do. We're trying to focus on us, look at us and what we can do better. Thanks, guys.